It's the 4th of July. The sun is high over the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Music is playing. Coolers are open. Friends are laughing on a barrier island that feels a world away from everything. 18-year-old Nolan Wells is there, smiling, relaxed, just another young man celebrating the holiday. By 3 p.m., he's still on that island. By 4:30 p.m., the boat he arrived on is leaving without him. By midnight, his mother is calling the police. And 2 days later, searchers find his body floating near the same shore where he was last seen alive. No clear cause of death. No official explanation. And 3 weeks later, the questions only keep growing. What really happened on Horn Island? Why did one friend leave and never come home? This is the story of Nolan Wells. Before we go any further, let's remember who Nolan Xavier Wells was. He was 18 years old, a rising sophomore at Southwest Mississippi Community College, where he played wide receiver. Friends and coaches described him as quiet but respected, the kind of young man who made people feel comfortable. His mother, Christine Wansley, and stepfather Elmore remembered him as kind, funny in a corny way, and deeply loved by his younger siblings. On the evening of July 3rd, Nolan cooked salmon for his family. He hugged his mother, kissed her goodbye, and left to stay the night with friends ahead of the holiday. It was the last time she would see him alive. Horn Island is not a resort. It is a remote, uninhabited stretch of sand and scrub about 10 miles off the Mississippi coast, part of the Gulf Islands National Seashore. No bathrooms, no stores, no reliable cell service. You get there by private boat, and you leave the same way. On the morning of July 4th, 2026, Nolan boarded a private boat with a group of friends. GPS data later obtained from the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources shows the boat left a private dock around 9:56 a.m. and arrived at Horn Island at approximately 11:14 a.m. The group spent hours on the northwest end of the island, swimming, hanging out, celebrating. Photographs from the day show Nolan with friends, smiling, in blue swim trunks. Around 3 p.m., according to multiple accounts, Nolan was still on the beach. Friends later said he told them he planned to catch a ride back with another group that was still on the island. One friend, Warren Hudson, has publicly stated that Nolan chose to stay behind. Then the situation on their own boat changed. Sometime after 4 p.m., the bilge pump failed. Water was coming in. A call went out to a private towing company. The audio, later obtained by news outlets, captures the urgency. "Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're going. We're sinking. Can you all please come?" GPS data confirms the boat departed the island at 4:31 p.m. It returned to its original dock later that afternoon, then moved again before being trailered overland. Nolan was not on it. That night, around midnight, Nolan's mother received a call from one of his friends. Nolan had not returned. She immediately reported him missing. The next day, July 5th, a full-scale search began. Jackson County Sheriff's Office, Harrison County, the U.S. Coast Guard, Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, National Park Service Rangers, and volunteer groups, including the United Cajun Navy, all joined the effort. Helicopters scanned the water. Boats combed the shoreline. Drones flew over the island. Nolan's father went out on the water himself early that morning, searching the same northwest tip where his son had last been seen. On the morning of July 6th, shortly before 8:45 a.m., a National Park Service ranger spotted a body in the water near the northwest shoreline of Horn Island. The following day, dental records confirmed what the family had feared most. It was Nolan. Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter has stated that, at least initially, there were no clear signs a crime had been committed. The investigation, however, remains active and ongoing. Authorities have repeatedly asked the public for any photos, videos, or information from anyone who was on or near Horn Island that day. The official autopsy performed by the Mississippi State Medical Examiner's Office has not been released publicly. Prosecutors have said the results, along with other evidence, will remain under seal until the case is presented to a grand jury, standard procedure in many death investigations. Toxicology results are still pending. District Attorney Angel Myers-McElrath has confirmed the case will follow the normal process and will eventually go before a grand jury once the investigation is complete. Nolan's family, represented by civil rights attorney Ben Crump, commissioned an independent autopsy. It was performed by Dr. Roger A. Mitchell Jr., a board-certified forensic pathologist and former chief medical examiner. Former NFL player Colin Kaepernick helped fund the examination. On July 22nd, at the NAACP National Convention, Crump released the preliminary findings. Both the cause and manner of death were listed as undetermined, pending further investigation. The pathologist noted several significant limitations. The body had already undergone a previous autopsy. Certain structures, including throat and neck tissues, were not available for re-examination. Decomposition had advanced. Dr. Mitchell documented a roughly 12 by 8-inch area of red discoloration in the deep soft tissue at the back of Nolan's head. He found no skull fractures, no lacerations, and no other major traumatic injuries. He could not determine whether Nolan was conscious when he entered the water, nor could he establish exactly how he ended up in the water. Importantly, the pathologist wrote that he could not rule out the possibility that non-accidental factors contributed to or caused the death. The independent findings answered some questions and raised others. The family continues to press for full transparency and for the release of the state's complete autopsy and toxicology results. In the weeks since, several of the young people who were with Nolan that day have spoken publicly. Warren Hudson, who has described himself as one of Nolan's close friends, has given interviews explaining the boat trouble and Nolan's decision to stay behind. He has denied any wrongdoing and stated that no one deleted content from Nolan's phone. Other friends have described the chaos of the afternoon, the bilge pump failure, the urgency to leave, and their belief that Nolan would return safely with another group. Questions have also surfaced about Nolan's cell phone. When it was returned to the family, his mother noted the absence of certain photos and videos from his Snapchat accounts. Friends have responded that phones were water damaged or difficult to access that day, and that no one had the password to delete anything. These accounts do not fully close the gaps. The exact sequence of events between 3 p.m. and the boat's departure remains incomplete in the public record. The case has drawn intense public attention. Community members in Gulfport and Ocean Springs have held justice walks and Unity Bridge walks calling for transparency. Civil rights leaders, including Reverend Al Sharpton, have spoken at Nolan's funeral and public events. Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves has commented on the public reaction and related threats under investigation by federal authorities. Local officials continue to emphasize that the investigation is active and that tips are still needed. As of late July 2026, no one has been charged. The official cause of death remains undetermined. The grand jury process has not yet begun. Nolan Wells was 18 years old. He was a son, a brother, a teammate, and a young man who made people around him feel at ease. His family is still waiting for answers that feel complete. They're still asking the same questions so many of us are asking. What happened in those final hours on Horn Island? And why does the full truth still feel just out of reach? If you were on or near Horn Island on July 4th, 2026, if you have a photo, a video, a memory, or any detail, no matter how small, please contact the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. Information can still make a difference. Behind every true crime story is a real family that wakes up every morning without their child. We will continue to follow this case as new official information becomes available. If this video helped you understand the facts so far, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications. Leave your thoughts in the comments.